The rain had just started when Emily Carter stepped out of the dimly lit convenience store on 32nd Avenue. She pulled her hood up, tightened the strap of her small tactical backpack, and started walking toward the parking lot. It had been 6 months since she left the Navy SEALs, 6 months since she had chosen silence over chaos, and 6 months since she promised herself she would never fight again. But life never cared about promises, only about timing. And tonight, the timing was brutal. Emily crossed the lot with her usual measured steps, her awareness sharp even though she looked calm. She had learned long ago that danger didn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispered, sometimes it hid in laughter, and sometimes it waited under a broken streetlight. She noticed a group of 4 men leaning on a rusted pickup truck, their voices carrying over the rain. Young, cocky, and careless. Exactly the type that believed they owned the night. Point. One of them, tall, bulky, a shaved head, nudged the smallest guy and pointed at her. Emily ignored them. She had spent enough years staring down armed insurgents to know that these weren't the kind of men worth her attention. But trouble had its own legs. It walked toward her. "Hey, sweetheart," the tall one called out, stepping in front of her path. "Want to keep us company tonight?" Emily didn't break stride. She shifted one step to the right. "Not interested." Her voice was calm, low, and firm. Most would have taken that as a warning. He didn't. Another man, lean, sleeveless hoodie, cigarette dangling, whistled and walked behind her. "Come on, don't be rude. We're just being friendly." Emily's jaw tightened. She hated this type. She'd seen versions of them in every city. Men who acted bold because they had backup. She stopped walking. "Back off." The tall one smirked. "Or what? You gonna cry?" The smallest guy laughed nervously. "Dude, she's like 5'5". What's she gonna do?" Emily didn't move. Her eyes were steady, assessing exits, distances, weight distribution. For a moment, she thought maybe they would get bored. But then the man behind her stepped closer and muttered the word she had heard too many times from fools who thought size was power. "You got a death wish coming out here alone, girl." She turned slowly. I said back off, but he didn't. Instead, he shoved her shoulder, hard enough to make it clear he wasn't joking anymore. Emily took one small step back, ready to walk away, ready to let it go. But fate didn't care about peace. The tall one moved faster than the others expected. He swung, his fist connected directly with the side of Emily's face. For a second, everything froze. The other 3 cheered. The tall man grinned. Emily's head had turned slightly from the blow, her hood falling back. And then she looked back at him, her eyes calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that only came from someone who had broken bones, survived explosions, and stared at death enough times that it no longer impressed her. "You done?" she asked softly. The tall man blinked. "What?" Emily exhaled slowly. "I gave you 3 chances to walk away." The smallest guy frowned. "Dude, what is she even talking about?" But the tall guy suddenly felt something he hadn't felt in years. Unease. Emily didn't wait for him to understand. A single precise movement, a pivot on her heel, and her palm struck his jaw sideways. Not a punch, a SEAL precision strike. His head snapped sideways, and he stumbled back into the truck with a loud clang. "What the hell?" the cigarette guy shouted. Emily didn't answer. She didn't need to. The lean guy lunged at her, swinging wildly. Emily stepped inside the arc of his punch, caught his wrist, twisted it downward, and slammed her elbow into his chest. His breath left him with a strangled gasp. She swept his legs, sending him crashing into the wet pavement. The smallest guy froze. What are you?" Emily moved toward him slowly. "Someone who told you to leave." He panicked and swung at her, eyes squeezed shut. She sidestepped easily, grabbed his arm, and guided his momentum straight into the side of the truck. His forehead hit metal with a thud, and he collapsed. Only the one who hit her first was left. He pushed himself off the truck, furious and shocked. "You want to die?" he shouted, reaching into the truck bed and grabbing a metal crowbar. "You should have stayed down, bitch." Emily tilted her head. "You don't want to do that." He ran at her, but Emily's movements turned surgical. She sidestepped at the last instant, grabbed his forearm, twisted inward, and struck his elbow joint with the force of a hammer. The crowbar fell. He screamed, collapsing forward. Emily caught his collar before he hit the ground. Her voice dropped to a whisper in his ear. If I wanted you dead, you would be dead. The man whimpered. She let him drop. The one with the cigarette groaned from the ground. Who are you? Emily didn't answer immediately. She wiped rain from her cheek where the punch had landed. The pain didn't matter. What mattered was the message. I was a Navy SEAL, she said quietly. And if you ever try to hurt another woman the way you tried with me, next time, you won't walk away. The remaining conscious men stared at her like she was a ghost. She turned and walked back to her car. Her hands didn't shake. Her breathing didn't spike. She had seen worse nights than this, but she hated that it still had to happen. Before getting in her car, she paused and looked back. Get up. Go home. Change your lives. None of them spoke. They only nodded, afraid to breathe wrong. Emily got in her car, closed the door, and sat in silence. She didn't feel pride. She didn't feel anger. All she felt was the familiar weight of responsibility. She didn't start the fight, but she ended it. She always ended it. She pulled out of the parking lot. Her phone buzzed with a notification. A message from her old SEAL teammate, Marcus Hale. You ever think about coming back? The world could use you. Emily smiled faintly. Not tonight. She drove through the rain, headlights cutting through the darkness, knowing that somewhere in that parking lot, for men would wake up tomorrow realizing they had attacked the wrong woman. And maybe, just maybe, they would become better for it. And for anyone watching her story unfold right now, if you're enjoying powerful, real-life, inspired stories of courage, justice, and resilience, don't forget to subscribe to Grow for Justice. It helps the channel grow and lets us keep bringing you fearless stories of people who stood up when the world tried to break them. And tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Emily Carter continued down the road, unaware that her night was far from over. Because the world never stopped testing those who could fight back. And soon, a new threat would force her to choose again between silence and justice. But tonight, she had already reminded 4 men of a simple truth. Fighting in Navy SEAL suicide